Welcome, welcome, welcome to Liverpool 12th Man Show. I am the Liverpool 12th Man, just as much as you are. And I am glad to be here today on a Twitter Tuesday, Twitter Takes Tuesday. It is a lot of going on in the Twitter world, in the Twitterverse, I think they call it. And I'm glad to see that you guys are here with me today. And if you're not live with me today, then I appreciate the fact that you're watching this on the actual, on the replay. And there's a lot that I want to go over, but I'm going to try to compartmentalize it as much as possible so we can get through all the takes and all the different different little nuances that are out there for today. And it should be a fun one today because there's some interesting topics that I definitely have some upcoming shows about, and also some just some interesting takes on some of the things that are getting passed around as being possibilities for our Liverpool future. So big up to each and every one of you guys. Big up to Redbird. Big up to Richard. Big up for you guys joining me today. Again, it's a lot that I said that I wanted to get into, but I'm just going to get into a couple different topics I think would pique your interest. Big up, Karma. I wanted to start off with this particular subject, and that is Kelleher. Big up, Beijing Reds. Big up, Beijing Reds TV in the house. And if you haven't joined and subscribed to Beijing Reds, you're missing out. So let me tell you that right now. Big up. I actually wanted to go over about this news about Kelleher and whether Kelleher is going to be moving on, and whether we're going to be either upgrading our number two option in the sense of going with a option from within, or are we going to go outside and get and bring in another keeper from another team and make him our number two? So okay, cool, Brian. I know Brian had some things to do with family, so I wasn't necessarily sure if we're going to be able to see the Irishman today, but cool. It looks like we will be able to, be blessed by having the Irishman join us today too. Also, big up to those that are going to Philly. It looks like I'm trying to figure out a way to go to all three stops on the tour, to tell you the truth, Beijing Reds. I'm looking to go to Philly. I have connects in Pittsburgh, so I was looking to possibly go to Pittsburgh as well. And I am contemplating going to South Carolina, I believe is the other stop, because I have family in South Carolina. I can make it a point to try to see family down there, and also be able to take in and also see some of my Reds family possibly. So yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to work it all out, because I do have other shows that are going to be involved here in Arizona, and also I have one show also even in LA. So we're trying to figure things out, trying to juggle as much as I can. So I'll definitely keep in touch with you, Beijing Reds, to coordinate with you if you are going to be definitely if you're going to the Link, which is what we call it here, or what we call it back home, Lincoln Financial Field. It's where the Eagles play, Philadelphia Eagles play. But if you're going there, Barnes, don't say, "Oh, I'm looking for Lincoln Financial," or "Hey, I'm excited to be at Lincoln Financial." Call it the Link, LINC, like the Link. Like that's the in way of calling it. So you don't seem too much of someone like someone that doesn't know where exactly they are. Because once you get to Philly, you will know you're in Philly for sure. But big up. Big up. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to send this over to our brethren Brian real quick to make sure he has this and see if he's available. JK is going to be JK was going to be available with us, but that was if I went on earlier. JK has a prior commitment, so he's going to be taking care of that. So for right now, until Brian joins us, it's just me solo and you guys in the chat. So big up, big up. But getting back to what I was saying, I was speaking on Kelleher and Stratford, or excuse me, Kelleher. I just buried the lead, I think, a little bit there, but Kelleher. And basically, I know that a lot of people love the fact that we had possibly the best. I personally think we had the best number 2 in the Prem. I honestly do. And that's over Ramsdale, who has become a number 2. That's over, I think it's Ortega. I think it's the goalkeeper for Manchester City. I think that it just has to be something of it all. And yes, I am, Richard. I am going to talk about Keller, and I'm going to talk about Allison too. I am going to talk about both. So basically, what I know about the ongoings of what it is that currently for Kelleher, we all know about what Kelleher said. We all know that Kelleher has come out and said that he is looking to be a number 1 option. He is looking to get more regular appearances going on when it comes to his, when it comes to his football future. And it also is not, it's not unlikely that he would have pursuers, because let's just be honest. I mean, Kelleher has won us some big games, whether it's, League Cups or even FA Cups. Kelleher has been there for us and has really been that guy for us. So I know we all want to see him stay. I would love to see him stay, but the likelihood of him staying is, I think it's definitely going to be a difficult thing to do, to keep him satisfied as being the number 2, because let's be honest, he's not going to be the number 1 option in front of Allison. And I think that although I know that there have been links to Allison being possibly influenced away or intrigued away to Saudi, I don't think it's actually going to happen. One of the things I think that is a telltale sign of why I think it's not going to happen with Alisson, at least moving on, is because of one particular reason, and that is because of the goalkeeper coach staying. That was a big thing. I know that's maybe reading the tea leaves a little bit, but I think for me that was a big one for him staying, because I know they have a connection, and I know that they he was very influenced in even joining us because of Alisson's influence of him joining, of him being in the team. And that was one reason why I think it's more likely, out of all the coaches that left, and all the backroom staff that left, he was one of the coaches that stayed. And I think that was a big sign for all of us, that we could see him. We could probably believe that Alisson's going to stay. And yes, Bayesian Reds, I believe that too. He still wants European football, and I think he still wants to be actively chosen as a Brazilian national team player. And I think that's why, being a player in Saudi Arabia League is one thing, but being a starter in the Premier League definitely holds a little bit more credit and a little bit more credit in your bank when it comes to getting a call up from the national team. But moving on from that, if Alisson is going to stay, then that definitely means that, we are going to have to find someone that is comfortable being that number 2 option. And as I spoke on earlier, we said that that we're not going to most likely have Kelleher being that option, or wanting to be that option, him wanting to be first choice. Excuse me. And there have been some reports. I reported on it yesterday about how Wolves have definitely stepped up the interest in possibly seeing him become their first choice. That would obviously be a good option for him, being that it would be Premier League football. It would be for a good club in Wolves. Wolves have a certainly they're a Midland club that is definitely a good option to be a part of. However, there has been reports, and this is what I've just been told, that Celtic are in pursuit of Liverpool's Kelleher. The Reds value I know that we value him at around 20 to 22 million pounds. But I know that also I reported it yesterday that I believe that we're going to look for around 30 million pounds if it is a Premier League team. So it's one of those cases where it's like, if you are a Premier League team, you're going to pay that Premier League tax in essence. According to sources from Football Insider, Celtic may encounter difficulties in meeting Liverpool's evaluation for Kelleher during the upcoming summer transfer window, because Celtic, unfortunately, who do need a keeper, they do need a keeper. Celtic is reportedly considering a move for Kelleher, but they value him at 10 million pounds. 10 million pounds. And that is far, far underneath the evaluation that I said earlier. So yeah, I don't think that you're going to see us letting Kelleher go for 10 million pounds. That's not happening. But I do see us saying 20, 22 million. Cool. You want him for, I know, Richard, Celtic are being really, really cheap, to say the least. And they have the money. Celtic is a powerhouse in the Scottish League, and they need a keeper. Their keeper is let me make sure I get this to Brian again. Sorry about that. Brian needs it on Twitter and not on he needs it on Twitter instead of WhatsApp. All right. Yeah, they definitely need a keeper because their keeper is going to be retiring. Apparently their keeper is going to be retiring at the end of this, or at the end of the season. He retired, I should say. So it means that, yeah, they're going to need to find someone, especially considering that Celtic is determined to keep that little stranglehold of dominance in the Scottish League. I know that they don't want to allow for Rangers to have any bit of an opportunity to make any ground on them. They understand what happened when our beloved Stevie G made that happen. But I don't think that, I don't think that you can see that happening with the cases right now. And it would be interesting too, because, Brendan Rodgers being the Celtic skipper, or gaffer, I should say, that would be something he probably would want to solidify too. We all know that he loves himself a little bit of the Premier League intrigue, to say the least. All right, make sure I get this out to Brian right now. But yeah, so going deeper into this again, it was said that if they do make a deal, that'd be great. But but it is something that we have to keep an eye on. And if we are going to see Kelleher move on, which again, I would like to see him stay, but I don't want to take it for what it is. And I agree with Redbird, by the way. I don't want to see us get any value. I don't want to see us get anything really lower than to be honest, I wouldn't want to see us get anything lower than 25 million for Kelleher, especially considering what some of the prices that teams are trying to get from their keepers. I'd like to not be shortchanged. You know, I think that this conception out there of, you know, overtaxing us because we are Liverpool and then going, you know, bargain basement shopping because we are Liverpool doesn't mix with me at all. I'm not down for that at all. So a lot of times when it comes to the valuations that are set on our players, they're more on the likelihoods of what I believe are necessary. Oh, big up. We had the Irishman in the house, people. So I am going to bring him in right now. Big up, Irishman. How are you?
How we doing?
Good. Very good.
Just had some had a few bits an unexpected call there. Sorry, it would have been an earlier.
No worries. I knew you had again, like, you know, family commitments and such. So that's why I wasn't going to bother you. But big up for joining us as always. Hope that you're well, by the way.
Yeah, watch the viewers drop by like 9% now.
But Dara was waiting for you. So
this guy again.
And you gotta remember, Dara wears bulletproof vests, got like probably a you know, your choice of firearms. So you gotta watch out for that.
Yeah. They probably thought they were going to just have you tonight. Sorry, it's me too.
No, definitely. It just adds to the spice here. It just adds to the spice. But it's important. It's actually appropriate that you join us right now because we are speaking on. I've already spoke on a little bit about Kelleher, about the possibilities of him now being really courted by Celtic, but Celtic going like lowballing the price valuation of what they think Kelleher is worth, being that they've said that he wants they've valued him at 10 million pounds. That's not happening. But again, you know, we spoke on yesterday about how Kelleher was at 30 million, a 30 million evaluation for, I can understand that being for Premier League teams possibly. And then they have a general evaluation of him being at 20 to 22 million pounds is what the consensus is for as being general. But you know, and now I was about to also speak on Trafford as well, and then I would like to get your whole take of the whole, you know, situation of our number two keeper. Right now, basically what is going on is Burnley being relegated, and also, you know, now being without a coach, or at least having their coach move on, and the sheer fact that towards the end of the year, James Trafford was he was a second keeper. He got relegated to being the second choice, actually, which was kind of surprising, considering he was, you know, obviously brought in and bought for a high price from Manchester City, was going there to get obviously first team starts, was getting them, wasn't getting the results that that they enjoyed seeing or were looking to see from him, and then he got dropped basically. You know, but now Trafford still seems to be one of our more preferred choices as being someone that we go for if we do move on from one of your countrymen. And I've been saying that I wouldn't mind seeing Trafford being brought in as a number two, as long as he understands that he'd have to be the number two and concentrate on getting his appearances through the cup appearances, as Kelleher did. Are you okay with that? And a lot of what I even said about, what are your takes on the Celtic rumors, or even you can bring up the Wolves rumors if you want, but like, what are your takes on this whole Kelleher situation and the possible inclusion of Trafford being a replacement?
Yeah, well, yeah, a lot in that.
Mhm.
There's a few people that have said hello. Hi, Dara,
Oh, big up,
Bernie,
yes.
Jean Grey.
Mhm.
Hello to everyone that said hello. Hope I haven't missed anybody out. And again, once again, thanks everyone for coming in and making it the show that it is. So,
Absolutely.
I said it from day one, dude. Celtic cannot afford him. I've
Yeah.
said it from day one. There is a transfer record in Scotland, which could be a trivia question in its own right,
Hmm.
which is still Torre Andra Flo, 12.5 million, I think. Rangers paid for them, paid for the guy back in the 90s when Rangers were getting the Champions League and stuff, and there was big money up in Scotland. They could pay good wages, and
Right.
that's still the record in Scotland.
Hmm.
And for a very, very good reason. They just don't have the money. Celtic
Mhm.
regularly now fail to qualify for the Champions League. The revenue in the Scottish Premiership is so. I said from day one, just not only could I, like I said, Celtic would not be able to afford to spend anywhere north of £20 million on any player, let alone a goalkeeper. Which is
Mhm.
my point about which is what rules out a lot of clubs for a player like Kelleher is
Mhm.
the fact that he may suit them, but they are not going to pay that much of a chunk of their transfer budget on a
Mhm.
goalkeeper.
Mhm.
They're going to try and get a goalkeeper for 6 million. If you're a lower league, you're going to try to get one for 6 or 7, and a really good one for Celtic. If they spend 7 million on a keeper, I mean,
Mhm.
Celtic. Look at what Celtic have done in the transfer market, and then also, I think they'd struggle to probably pay him what he's on at the moment.
Mhm.
Well, they wouldn't struggle, but let alone give him an increase. So I think that one is about as dead in the water as it gets
Mhm.
for me. Like, I know never say never in football, but I will be like, to me, I don't want to call it lazy journalism, but it is lazy journalism. Irish player goes to Celtic. There you go. No, I'm sorry. I'm not. I said it about 2 months ago. So you can count Celtic out immediately because everyone's, oh, what about Celtic? Nope, not gonna happen. They don't have the money. And if they
Mhm.
did have that kind of money, they'd be spending it on a centre forward, an attacking player. Somebody give him a chance in the Champions League qualifiers, maybe not on a keeper. The Trafford thing, then great shout. He had a wonderful performance against us. I think he made 7 saves in that game against us.
Mhm.
He looked like he was having, he's having a worldly night. Uh, good, solid young goalkeeper, can play. Brought up in the modern era, brought up in the modern way of playing. Very kind of uh, obvious number two type. But then again, what's the price? What are we talking about? If you were talking about Burnley, well, they've been relegated, so perhaps not. But if you're talking about more than 10 million for him, I don't know. But yeah, I like him as a backup, as a number two.
Mhm.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. And yeah, no to the Celtic thing, big time. I think Quivin is capable of playing at an upper level in the Premier League, anywhere up to the Brightons and the Villas of this world. So I think he also would have his sights set a little bit higher. So, but I think it looks like this is going to happen, really, doesn't it? We are going to be in the goalkeeper market.
Yeah. 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 Do you think it's going to be something like a name? Excuse me. Do you think it's going to be something like a name that we don't know? Because truthfully, there has been reports that we could just hold tight and basically allow for Adrian to be our
No,
number two. I
not
know,
that
I
one.
know, I know. Just let me get it out. Let me get it out there. I know that, but to be our number two, and then also to allow for a youth academy player to be the the third choice, basically.
No.
Um, and I believe it was oh shoot, now I'm gonna forget it. I'm gonna go blank with his name. Because he has made a couple, not necessarily he made an appearance preseason, and then but he wasn't.
Oh, the keeper, you mean? Oh, the young kid.
Yes,
I know, the Grabosh or something, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Grabo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird because I thought that that the young Brazilian would be finally possibly ready to make that next step. I'm hoping that he does. It would be nice to see him get that progression. That's a keeper. I know that he's a a well scouted. He was like one of the top scouted keepers from Brazil um, before joining us.
Yeah,
And
big up Barnes. Big up Barnes. Yeah, I know. Yeah, sorry. End the stream on the Adrian. Yeah, yeah. I nearly did, yeah.
But yeah, so what I was saying is that like I wouldn't if that happens, that is apparently a possible angle or a possible direction that they take as well, or Liverpool the back room of Liverpool takes as well. But what are
No,
your
I
thoughts?
don't
What are your
agree.
thoughts? What do you think that Hughes is got in mind actually? And what would you personally like to do as well? Like, what do you think Hughes would like to do?
Am I that far off there? As far I can't remember anybody. As far as I remember, someone said that to me about a year ago that the Scottish record is still 12 million that they went for Flo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling to think of it. 4 more players that went to Scotland for more than 12 million, especially when you remember 12 million when it was back then. Probably more like 20 now. But if I've missed out on 4, well, I'm not normally that far off. But yeah, please enlighten me. But yeah, no, the Adrian thing is a troll. I wouldn't be, if it was more of a manager thing, I wouldn't be surprised for some like kind of Dutch, Eredivisie type or
Okay.
someone who knows, just someone Slot knows is a real good shout for it, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and he puts it up. But again,
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll have our targets there, and I wouldn't. Has anyone mentioned a price for James Trafford?
Okay. So the price for him has been reduced since he is going to the championship. However, it's not. He was originally evaluated at 20 million, but I don't think we're going for Pepe. By the way,
I mean, I'd be topping out at 15 for
right.
Trafford. I don't know about anybody else, but for a player like Trafford, yeah, if you said to me, right,
It's because of PSR, by the way, too. Just so you know, because PSR. So apparently, I'll allow for you to finish your thought. I was just
no,
so
go
that.
ahead, tell me, yeah.
TBR Football understands, this is reported by TBR, that Burnley are gearing up to sell goalkeeper James Trafford this month, which will help them avoid any PSR issues. They revealed that a host of Premier League clubs have had contact about a possible deal for Trafford, and obviously I mentioned that Liverpool is amongst those names. There is the thing about it is, Brian, is that what I think is going to happen with Trafford, which is something that I know that we don't like to get involved in, and that is, I think they're going to put him at one of those like, oh, wait a minute, okay, let's go check this price out type deals. So let's say you said 15, for instance, hypothetically, right? They might say something like,
Yeah.
Let's put him out on the market as being 12 million, and what they expect to happen is they expect because there's so many names or so many teams involved in it, they're looking at possibly a bidding war.
Got a bidding war going on. Oh, they'd love that, yeah.
So I think that's what they'll probably come in a little bit like around your evaluation of 15 or 10, or not 10 probably, but more like, 5 to 7 million or 8 million maybe at most off of that original 20 million evaluation, since they are a championship team, and then they'll allow for all these bids to kind of get involved in it. And that's where I don't want to see us get. That's something I know that Liverpool doesn't like to do. They don't like to be in bidding wars. They like to just be like,
Not
hey,
for, not for a player like Trafford.
right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think you're right, and he could be a he could be a domino transfer as well. That
Hmm.
someone loses a keeper, Like
Mhm.
we're trying to replace a number 2 with him,
Mhm.
whereas someone could lose a keeper and look at him as a number 1. You know, they could
Mhm.
look at selling a keeper for 25, but he, to me, I don't think is going abroad. So his,
Mhm.
you know, Brentford bought a lot of goalkeepers last season. Well,
Mhm.
they upgraded on. Like, they brought in Flecken because they lost Raya. Brought in Flecken, and then you had the other guy. Um, that's that kind of level that you see a player like Trafford go to.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, as a number 1 maybe,
Mhm.
or if something was to happen, all of a sudden Brighton need a new goalkeeper, or Wolves need a new goalkeeper, or someone like that. So, do you want to say to him, look, we've got 2 deals on the table, one to go to Liverpool and be number 2,
Mhm.
or one to go to Wolves and be number 1? For
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
career, you take the Wolves move because you're going to be playing the Premier League. You do well at Wolves for 2 years, you might play for Arsenal. You might be going back to Manchester City. You know,
Yeah.
so I think he'll have
Yeah.
options. That kid, I think he will definitely have options. We just need a really good number 2.
Mhm.
That's all we need. We don't want to go out and blow the money and exactly what you just said. Get involved in some kind of 2-month long bidding war. Yeah,
Yeah,
over
over a
number.
number two.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know.
yeah. It
Yeah.
ain't. It's not Neymar. It's not. It's not Pedri. This is. We don't want to be here on 31st of August. No, did we get Trafford? No, look, just go out and
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
John,
Exactly.
Johnny van der Loon, some Dutch keeper. Just go out and bring that guy in. Everyone goes, oh, he's brilliant. Cool, get it done. Some German kid, whoever it might be, because it'll be a young kid. Because someone has to go. Someone will want to come to Liverpool, happy to sit on the bench.
Right.
But
Right.
because we don't know, do we? Klopp had his cup thing where
Mhm.
the keeper, Keller, you play in these competitions,
Mhm.
guaranteed before the season even starts. You will be playing Carling Cup and FA Cup. Does
Mhm.
Slot do that? We don't know. Does Slot
We
do that?
don't know. Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
even know. Again, like I was asked what kind of formation he's going to play. Look, he's going to create the formation that best suits what his evaluation of the talent that he has. I think that is somewhat of what he's walking into, and also there's also a lot of question marks on like who's going to stay, who's going to go. Um, you know, I do think he's going to go with 4-2-3-1, but who knows? He could go with 4-4-2 or 4-3. 4-4. Or he could keep a 4-3-3. And do some adaptations to it the way that Klopp did towards the end of his career here. But we shall see. Basically, we shall see.
Nice
Um,
one. Sorry, nice one, Jared. Nice one.
yes, big up, Jared. Big up, Jared, as always. Um, there are some excuse me. There are some different names out there being circulated. I'll just knock this over and get this out of the way because like I wanted to definitely go into one of the stories I really wanted to see or wanted to comment
Just,
on.
just quick before you do,
Yeah.
quickly. I think Jared is saying what you were saying. That there are bits of Yaros. That's the guy we were talking about, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly. Yep.
Will
Yep.
likely be promoted to second goalkeeper. And also, by the way, if that guy is really, really good,
Mhm.
and I'm assuming he's decent because he's at the club,
Right.
if he's proven that this guy is actually a bit special, or well, I'm totally cool with that. By the way,
Mhm. Mhm.
like if it's like the plan is to promote Yarrow. So, well, I think we should get Trafford 15 minutes. Like, and if someone at the club goes, I get what you're saying, but believe me, this kid Yaris is just as good as Trafford. He's just as good as
Yeah,
Ramsdale
I
was at
agree
the
with that
same
too.
age.
I think so
Cool,
too.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy for us to go in 2 years' time and say, "Oh, bloody hell, typical Liverpool. They had that Yaris kid," and that's what we have an academy for, and that's what we bring him in. So if he's really some excellent young goalkeeper and we have him on our books already,
Mhm.
then yeah, cool. I'll back it 100%. And I won't see it as, oh, cheapskate. I know people will take that look at it, but if that kid is like I say, a really, really good goalkeeper, and someone says, "Why would you spend 15 million on Trafford?" I'm a goalkeeping coach. I'm a goalkeeping scout, and I can
Mhm.
tell you, he's just as good as Trafford. He's just as good as this and that. Awesome, great. Get
Yeah.
him up, get him into the team. Let's see what he's made of.
Let's see what he's. Yeah. See. Let's see his. Yeah. See if he's got the minerals right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
half a season in Spain from January. Yeah, he would. So cool. Let's see him in pre-season then. Let's give him plenty of games. We might have a little gem on our hands, like a Bradley or a. So if we do, yeah, don't go out and block his paths by bringing in some overpriced young English goalkeeper or some random other guy. You know, let's
Mhm.
stick with this guy. I'm really happy to hear that they're, because that means that they think he's good enough. You
Yes.
know, I don't
Yes.
see that because I know, like I said, a lot of people go, "Oh, typical FSG, sell Kelleher for this and not
Oh
replace
yeah.
him."
To sell. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you know
You
what's
know,
fun? I was about to. I was about to bury that little. But funny. You know, like the if people really did like the math behind it, you wouldn't see it as we're not as sell to buy as people really think that we are, despite the fact that most teams will have to gravitate towards being sell to buy with the PSR. Like, as in, there's very few other ways that you can make revenue for your team other than by selling some of your assets
I know
to.
I've yet to find out who this club that doesn't sell players is. I've been looking. I've
Yeah,
been
I don't
looking for
understand
years.
that. I
I've
don't
yet to
understand.
find out who they are. Apparently, there's a club somewhere that never sells anyone and only buys people.
Right.
I've yet to find them. I'm pretty sure everybody sells players. That's just how you
Mm-hmm.
do it. Everybody does it, but no, we're sell to buy. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. It's different
Yeah.
for us. I
Yeah.
suppose this means less,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. You know,
Yeah.
when we do it, it's bad. When everybody else does it, it's just normal business.
Right, right. That's just that just seems to be just a way of the Liverpool way. Liverpool.
Bit of a double standard, I think, isn't it? Bit of a
Yeah.
double standard, but
Stefano says Alisson missed on average 8 games a season too. Our second keeper must be good. He says, go check out Alisson's injury record. It's not
well,
good.
we've been
Yeah.
watching him for 5 years, man. We know what his record is like, and it's he's not an injury
Oh,
prone
this is good
keeper,
too.
but he
That's good.
has missed games, yes, and more frequently in the last 2 seasons, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he's not a knocky player, and if what I mean by knocky is he's not a guy that picks up knocks.
Mm-hmm.
Not that goalkeepers does. He just yeah, and I suppose you could compare him to other keepers, maybe, but yeah, especially last season because he was out for a big chunk. If that was to continue, if that was to happen again this season,
Mm-hmm.
then you might. Yeah. Let's just say it hasn't gone unnoticed on my part anyway.
Right, right, right.
But I
Yeah.
have seen a lot of overreaction saying Ali's injury prone. He's injury prone.
Mm-hmm. I
You
mean,
know,
Real Madrid do sell players. I mean, ask
everyone sells.
ask the
Everyone
Red
sells.
Devils.
Yeah.
Ask the
They
Red
sell guys
Devils.
you never heard of. They sell
Ask the
little
Red
guys you
Devils
never heard of.
if Real Madrid sell players. I mean, they got they took on Casemiro for a hefty fee. A
Everyone
hefty.
has to balance them books, and it's even harder in Spain than it is in England. But
Yeah.
Real Madrid are a money making machine. So if any club is a sell to buy club, I've yet to see them.
But
I mean, this all
you know
gets
what's
nailed
unique
to
about
one
I
deal.
will say this. Oh, sorry, I just apologize for
No, it just
quick.
all gets nailed to that one deal, that Coutinho deal.
Yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
all gets nailed to that one thing where we sold Coutinho, we bought two good players, and everyone says, "Oh well, you only did that because you sold him." You know, apparently, so, and it's lazy. It's beyond lazy. It's beyond lazy. Every club sells their dross, their bits and pieces along the side to bring in money. You know, and then yeah, you get a club like United that comes along, obviously you're 60. Like no club in the world turns down 142 million for Coutinho. But the bottom line on that is, and as far as I'm concerned, the bottom line on that is, we reinvested every penny of that.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
Most clubs take a big chunk and go, well, we got 142. You can spend 80.
Right.
You can spend 70. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to pay off a bit of debt. We're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Went straight back in. It's like, oh yeah, but then you went and bought Van Dijk and Alisson. So yeah, we got every penny. FSG put every penny back. The evidence is there in front of you.
Right. They didn't do like a Glazer move and say, "Oh wow, look, now our books are kind of fatter." So
oh yeah, the Glazers go, "Oh yeah, but
you can dip into the piggy bank a little bit deeper."
Yeah, it's like on Christmas. It's like your rich auntie gives you like $1,000 and they give it to your mom, and by the time your mom gets you, it's 500. You're like, "Hang on," and they're like, "Food and clothes, bitch." It's like we took our cut. The Glazers like, we're taking our cut. You got the whole housing with FSG. They're like, here, no, you spend it.
It looks like we started a little bit of a hornet's nest. We knocked into a little. I wanted to say Hyler's comment here is definitely well taken, and appreciate you bringing that up, because those are the other two backups that we had, or young youth academy player goalkeepers that we have, and then that was Peter Luca is the one that we're speaking on. I wanted to like try to transition it into something, but everybody's going on this Real Madrid tip.
People's channel.
Yeah, right. He said, Major says they don't sell anyone good, at least. Casemiro was washed, where she was, where she ended up being.
No, but if we were a sell to buy club, right?
Mm-hmm.
We would have sold Salah 3 years ago. We would have sold Van Dijk 3 years ago. Like you've got, like everyone makes a big, huge think about Coutinho going on strike, right? The back injury. Like Coutinho literally forced his way out of the club. We as a club extracted an enormous fee, probably twice what he was worth.
Yeah.
We had a guy literally feigning injury, so he didn't have to play.
Yeah.
So he left, right? So what was supposed to do? We got a huge money for him, and we bought Virgil. We didn't waste it like Tottenham did after they sold Harry Kane, or we did after we sold Suarez. What did we do? We bought two of the best in the world, if not the best in the world, Alisson and Van Dijk. What is wrong with that deal? Tell me what is wrong with that deal. Who won in that deal? Have you seen Coutinho since he went to Barcelona? Have you seen Barcelona since they bought Coutinho? Have you seen us since we bought Ali and VVD? Please tell me what we did wrong in that deal. I'm here.
No, I was just going to say, and I'm rounding off at least to an estimate real quick, because we are going to move on. But in 2022, we forked out $150 million on two players in 2022, Darwin Nunez and Cody Gakpo. That was $150 million that we spent just on those two players. Then 12 months later, we spent we bought four new midfielders: Dom, Maka, Gravenberch, Endo, for about 100.
But we only did that because Saudi gave us the money. We only did that.
And that wasn't the case. That was like we made those deals. We made those deals. I mean, Dom was made long before Fab or Maka and Dom were made long before Fab or even Hendo even made their decision to move on.
We had factored in Milner leaving, and that was it. We did not. We bought McAllister and Dom when we assumed Fabinho and Henderson were staying. We factored in Milner on a free, but we did.
Fab and Hendo were suspected that we were expecting that Fab and Hendo would be a part of that midfield.
Yeah. So we spent
even though we brought in Maka and even though we had brought in Maka and Dom into the team. Yeah, it's one of those cases where, like, again, it's interesting. And again, to Bayesian Red's point too, though, look, if those players in your mind or in your belief are washed, which a good number of them were kind of pretty much, long past their better days, it is still a testament of when you have a player like that has a big name associated to their play, they're still going to demand a little bit of a real price that goes associated with their names. So I don't mind. I don't mind the fact that we've been.
Yeah, but can you imagine if we'd spent 60 million on Casemiro and given him 300 grand a week? What people would be saying?
Exactly my point.
Jokers, absolute jokers.
We would be a laughing stock. Yeah, we'd be a laughing stock. We would be definitely fodder for people making fun of this player or that player under those terms. I agree with that completely. All right, so I'm going to go into a couple. Speaking of transfers, I'll go into a couple other speculations that are out there, and then I have a really, really big story that I want to go because there is something. This big story that I wanted to talk about is a little prelude of something that I want of a story that of an episode that is coming up for us on the channel. So for right now, though, sticking with transfers, Lenny Yoro, I spoke on the fact of how Real Madrid are on some other different settings, and this could be a little bit of what I meant by Beijing Reds does have some merit of what he's saying in that I told you how Real Madrid was so bold to go to a youngster and say, "We like you, kid, and just wait, just hang out. We know you only have 12 months left on your deal, but you know what? If you just hang out, maybe we'll come in and pick you up because we do like you on a free.
We'll be passing through town again next year, and we'll pick you up then."
Exactly. Right. Look, we did it with Mbappe. We'll do it for you too.
Flexing
for sure. Big up Philly, Liverpool FC.
Big up Philly.
Big up.
And big up Barnes as well for being in the building tonight. I think we're blessed.
Big up.
One of the big
He's
dogs.
He's a busy man, so
one of the big dogs.
One of the big guys out there now. So but yeah, so apparently the contention is that we would like to obviously pick up another center back, being that Matip is obviously no longer with the team. And obviously Matip was our veteran presence when it came to our partnership with VVD. But if we can get VVD to sign an extension, considering he is in the last throes of his contract as well, it would be nice to see VVD be able to take a young player like Lenny Yoro under his wing and help progress his transition. And I like this player. I've looked more into this player, but I don't know if I'm all in at 34 million is what the valuation is being thrown out there as being for this player. That's 34 million pounds, 40 million euros if you're joining us outside of the UK.
Which is about $43 million, $44 million, something like that.
30, yeah. So 34 million pounds is what they're saying is the price that you could that they would like to see him get put out there. Is that a bar? To the question to you, Irishman, and also to the chat, is that a bargain for you? Do you think we should go 34 million in for a obviously a promising young he's 18 years old, I believe, promising young center half, as you guys say over in Europe. But
both, yeah.
Is that too much?
See, you're old school. If you say center half, you're old school. If you say center back, you're new school.
Okay.
So but then you get these kids who don't even say center back. They're like LCB and this stuff. It's like, ugh.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah. So Jesus. Okay. Lenny Yoro is too young for me. Like, I'm sure, like the amount of intangibles and variables that are involved with predicting what happens to an 18-year-old kid make it almost pointless. But if his trajectory continues as it is, in 4 or 5 years' time, that price would prove to be a bargain. But so he's someone I'd love us to bring in and have brought in someone else.
Are you all in real quick? Are
I
you
need
all?
that 24
Tyler
year
has a
old.
good point, by the way. He's saying that I know that the concerted or concerted opinion is that we're looking for a left-footed center back. So, and he is a right-footed center back. He is a right-footed center back, but all the same, is that part of the reason why you might not be so bullish on
No,
Euro?
the balance is necessary, but plenty of right-footed players can play left center back. So don't get hung up too much on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the chances of having a top quality left footer and a top quality right footer. Yeah, you've got to be. Yeah, that's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So no, just for me, he's just too young. Like I want to bring in someone at that 24 age. I'd love to have a Yarrow. Like I say, I'd love us to bring in two centre halves. One of them is basically primed to compete with Canade, and the other is basically a potential long term, even that long term, with Kwanzaa. Like
Mm-hmm.
we have a young star centre half. We
Well,
have a Yarrow with our Kwanzaa. Do we need a Yarrow if we have Kwanzaa?
do we then say so? Apparently, because I have an Ashio 65 million bargain or not as being my next question. Then, do we then say, okay, well then let's not drop the 34 M's on Euro at 18? Excuse me.
Yeah, that's too
And
young.
do we drop the 51 M's, which is being reported? And he also has a release, apparently a release clause, of 51 M's, basically, or 60 euros, 51 million pounds, or 60 million euros as his release clause. Do you think that we should go and pursue, as Honesty is put? Because Honesty says Liverpool are not targeting Inacio just transfer, despite the monitoring claim. But there has been a lot of either content creators out there, or even just like Twitter, Twitter takes, or different journals out there putting it out there as like this could be someone that we're in for. And do you think that we should then say, okay, well then if we're not going to go for a youth player like that, a younger player like that, then let's go for this Inacio guy from Sporting CP and go for him as a defender? Or is that going too far? Is that taking, again, too far of a step for you? And tell me in the chat too. I'm monitoring obviously what's going on in the chat, and I'm going to bring up as much as I can for your comments and questions.
I've been saying for a while now that I know we need bodies, we need numbers, we need people. So at this stage, because some of the players that I know so little about, that I can't really speculate on individuals. So it's like, no, we definitely need a guy in that position. So who is the best guy in that position? I'm a little bit reluctant. I see a lot of Kefram Touram stuff coming up again. I see a lot of names that we've been linked with for a long time coming up again. Just from my experience, okay, this is just my intuition, my experience, I'd be hedging against those names.
Yeah, because Edwards is now involved in the mix.
Yeah, these boys we were linked with 18 months ago, a year ago, the Ignacios, the Tourams, it's like, I think it's nobody knows who our targets are. So they're bringing up easy things. Like, again, I'm just, I've been watching the media for a long time in what they do since the early 2000s, I've been online. I'm sorry, that's how old I am. I've been online since 2001, 2002. I see every day what the media do. I see these same stories. They never change. You can see just the same. You can see the regurgitation of it. And so it's like the same names over. It's like, if we really were in for that guy, I think we would have gone and done it. And it's highly unlikely that our next manager coming in also wants Ignacio, also wants Thuram, also wants this guy that we're linked with. So I'm expecting newer names, different people we might not know about.
Right.
again, it's, to me, without a doubt, you come into the club, you look at it, and you go, right, let's just say our hands are tied here. We can only do two things. The first thing you do, without a doubt, is you bring in a centre half that you think can walk straight into that team. Be him left-footed, right-footed, that he can just walk straight into that team. And you're happy, you think that'll work, right? He might not necessarily do it, but you think he can. Not an 18-year-old, not something like that. And then the next thing you do is you look at Endo and you go, right, cool, we need your replacement in immediately. You're 32, you're not the future. I need the 24-year-old Endo. So, boom, first thing, centre half. Some people might see DM first. I think we need to move someone out of that midfield before we bring someone in there, just on a numbers game. But so I think the two things that should be there when Edwards and Slaughter are sitting down is, right, okay, centre half, replacement for Kelleher, out and out DM. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm not sure what order people would place them in. But for me, I think centre half, then DM, and then the easier one to do is the goalkeeper replacement. But like we did at the thing, didn't we? I went with Bastoni. We went with you went with Delict, wasn't it, or someone similar?
Yeah. Well, I would love.
That's the profile I'd love.
Right.
That's not a Yarrow, not a will be a Bastoni in 4 years.
I think, you know what though? I think, and this is there is one other name I'm going to bring up. I know that Thuram has been thrown out there lately as well, possibly. There's a lot of these names that we already looked at before, as the Irishman just said, but now they're getting like basically recycled into the pursuits of what we might possibly go for. But there is one other name I'm going to add on there in a second. But I honestly think that when it comes to what we're doing with our transfer pursuits, I agree that we're most likely going to see a name that easily, there's going to be names on there that easily none of us had on our radar.
Yeah, definitely.
And like, the way that they've kept a lot of their choices so close to the chest, their cards so close to their chest, I know that's most likely going to be the site. And that's why I will dabble a little bit in the speculation. I will just have a little fun with it here and there, but I don't want to go too deep into it sometimes, because I mean, like, there's a different name always out there. And on top of that, being, putting the agent hat back on for a second, that's a part of your job, is to get your player's name in the talking, circles, so that you can get a little traction for possibly a move, or if not a move, at least getting your client a better deal. That's just how it is. Like, hey, there's a lot of people talking about us, maybe just as a sign of faith, you could up our deal a little bit or something like that. That's just one of those cases when it comes to these players.
And also, don't forget that if you own, back in the day, right, there was newspapers. The newspaper, and at the weekend you might have some bit of transfer stuff or whatever. Now, if you own a football website that drives traffic, and you talk about transfer rumors every single day, you have to talk about transfer rumors every single day.
Yeah.
So if there are none, you have to make them up.
Yeah. And
that's what the internet is. People demand transfer rumors every single day now. They demand new news.
Right.
So if there is nothing, people just go, oh, well, they're looking at that guy. And the next thing, the internet goes on fire. It's just like, oh, Liverpool, they're interested in Kefram Turam. Well, people believe that because they were last season. I mean, there's literally nothing happening, but you have deadline. You have like whole website with transfer news sections.
Yeah,
people do transfer news shows every night.
Yeah,
sometimes
there's some channels that are named after transfer, like Transfer Room, or and those things, which are good channels, by the way. I watch them personally.
Sometimes you
So
just
like,
have to admit it. There is no news.
yeah,
There is no transfer news. But these,
yeah,
they can't do that. So they just have to throw up a
they
thing
have to
and
throw it out there,
throw
throw
up
out
the
names.
data. And go, yeah, say, oh, that's a possibility, or potentially might be considering an interest in. It's just like, oh, yeah. It's give me a Fabrizio Romano with a here we go.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
happy with that. Here we go.
he's even and that's the thing about him. I'll admit he's even a talking piece sometimes. In like as in like
Got to make
a
that money.
yeah, he's got to make the money, and he knows that, and he's got a big following, and the fact that like people understand that utilizing his services is a surefire way for you to get traction to whatever rumor or whatever headline that you want to get out there. Because I remember like the Rodrigo, for instance, news came out that, and this is just honest to goodness truth. I mean, like, look, because I saw Realism Jared put in there that the 18-year-old Endrick cost Real Madrid 47.5 euros, which is fantastic business for them. But Real Madrid have an amazing, market connection to the South American market, and also the sheer fact that if you are bringing an Endrick, if you are bringing now a Mbappe, if you now already have a Vinicius Jr., if you already have a Jude, if you already have a Rodrigo, once again, that's like 5 phenomenal names I just mentioned that all, albeit I get it, Jude plays that 10 or if not that cam position for them, but those are phenomenal names that you have already involved in your front line. Well, there's only so many minutes that these players can get. There's only so many positions that, on the pitch that these players can play. It means that someone's going to be the odd man out. So I know Rodrigo started to gain some traction as possibly being that odd man out if Mbappe was going to come to the team. And now, the first thing that Fabrizio does is like he gets on the airway saying, oh, let's, I know that there was a quote out there that didn't necessarily look positive or look like that there possibly was a way of Rodrigo leaving. But I'd like to say that Rodrigo is more than happy to be with Real Madrid, and he looks to continue his future at Real Madrid. Tell us something we don't know, man. That's not news, like that's not news, but yet like he understands that he has to put it out there like that. And that's what he does.
It's funny. It's like to me, I just never. I said it from day one. It's like if you're playing Football Manager, right? If you're doing what you're doing what we did in our Anfield Cup, and you're playing with a 3 up front, I cannot understand why you would have Vinny and Mbappe, because that's literally their best position. Like you're not forcing Vinny. Vinny can only really play in that position, or a central, maybe. But what are you going to do? Push Mbappe in the middle where he doesn't really want to be? I think that's what they're going to have to do. And it'll probably work brilliantly because it's Mbappe, but he wants to be on that side. Maybe they'll come up with a scenario. But to me, it was like a little bit overkill. And I thought maybe last year Vinny Jr. might have been available. That ain't happening now. Yeah, because like you say, Mbappe, Bellingham, Vinny Jr., Rodrigo, there's enough games for all of them to play, obviously. But if they were all fit and you're playing a European Cup final, obviously they all play, but they might be backing themselves in the corner a little bit. Obviously, they can't go out now and try and get Haaland in 2 years.
Yeah,
they probably will try and do that. But
no, Bernie's spot is right. What Bernie has to say is spot on too. It's going to somewhat to what you're saying is that if we looked at a possible target, announced it, everyone would go for them, and the price would double. That's why we get we basically go into a bidding war possibly, and that's why we get out of the blue, get those out of the blue signings. It's because of such, like we rather keep those cards close to our chest so that we don't have to get involved in bidding wars. We get involved with players that understand that we're interested in them. They're interested in us. We've created a relationship, and that's how we. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can. Yeah, and we have been really, really good at it, because you see what happens when the the cat gets out of the bag. So,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
yeah. It's always been the way, but I think it's identify, like you say, you identify a target that wants to come to us. We want to do it. They want to do it. Then just get it done. Don't. And this is another thing that FSG don't get any credit for, which is look at one of the deals that we got, which was Diaz. And why did we get that deal? Because we acted incredibly quickly. Firmino, we acted incredibly quickly. Why did Tottenham lose Diaz? They had Diaz in the bag. Levy decides to fuck around last minute, try and shave 3 or 4 million quid off the deal. Doesn't get stuff ready in time. Same reason they lost. The other guy, I can't remember who it was, but they had him done. And next thing you know, tries to mess around with the money, goes somewhere else.
From you mean the guy from France? Begins with F. Fake Lord. What's his name?
Willian. Sorry, it was Willian. It was Willian when they lost him to Chelsea.
Oh, you're talking about that? Okay, I thought also remember the French connection. We had a French player that was supposed to play. I think they even had him showing the kit or something like that. But then his brother got involved with like trying to up the price.
Like we don't do that. Like Levy kind of gets a team into a position and makes them think the deal is done, and then tries to shave money off because he thinks he's a smart operator.
Sure. Yeah,
we just going to get deals done.
Yeah,
like Levy is notorious for being this tough negotiator.
Yeah,
but basically all that means is that all their negotiations are out in public and they go on for a really long time. And if they go, he's one of those brinksmanship type people. He says, no, I'm going to tell them we've changed our mind and we're going to pay 3 million less. They'll buckle. He hangs up the phone thinking they'll buckle. The next phone call he gets thinking they've accepted the deal. It's like, yeah, no, he's gone to Arsenal, mate. Or he's gone to Chelsea. You know, we went in with Diaz. We don't mess around.
No, we don't. We don't.
You know,
shrewd negotiators. Shrewd negotiators, to say the least.
You realize what needs to be done to buy the player, and if you're prepared to do it, then you go in and you buy it. You don't do what Levy did, which they formulate. They agree on a thing. They come to a handshake on it, and then before they're just about to sign, he goes, "Oh, by the way." You know, and so these players go, "Oh, you're trying to right at the last minute." You know, okay, Mr. Negotiator. And next thing you know, Liverpool on the phone. No messing around, deal done. So that's what FSG don't get enough credit for either. Is getting deals done.
I definitely agree with Redbird, I agree with Bernie. I prefer the fact that we do a lot of our. I prefer the fact that a lot of us are just speculating and just basically having fun with, like, you know, pretending to be sporting directors, you know. But the honest to God truth is, like, the players that are probably going to be suited up as Reds are players that we either never thought was even in our in our focus, or that's just how it is. Because I don't think any of us I don't think any person really out there was like, oh yeah, we're going to get Szoboszlai
or get Endo or get
McAllister. You know,
that before it was done. Yeah. There was a little bit of talk about McAllister, but no one was out there nailing their to the mast on it.
Yeah, and it was also because of the uncertainty about what his release clause was, or if he even had one. You know, I mean, like, so yeah.
But it was like, it was kind of like I don't want us to go back to I don't want to judge the club by the high watermark of the Fabinho deal, which was basically we lost the European Cup final, and within 8 hours, 12 hours, whatever, we had announced Fabinho. And nobody knew we were in for him. Okay, that was a masterstroke. Okay? That was like literally our masterpiece. Not one word of it on the internet. Not one word from any journalist, and done. Deal done. Big money, big player. So everyone had this kind of, oh, look, we used to do things the Fabinho way. We didn't. That was just one deal we pulled off beautifully. lots of our other deals were in the press beforehand. It's just like they judge them by that high watermark of, oh, we should do it the way we did the Fabinho. Why can't we do all our deals the way we did Fabinho? Because it's not always possible to do it like that. Each deal is
No, you're
individual.
right. I get you. Yeah.
But that
No,
was a
absolutely.
high watermark of, when we got it right, we really got it right. Not a sniff of anything. And then boom, deal announced. In the internet age, that's incredibly good work. In the Fabrizio Romano era, that's incredibly good work. Now, that kind of thing, we're getting to the stage where it's like, oh, apparently Liverpool are interested in this guy on a Wednesday, and then on a Friday, deal done, deal announced, everything complete. Whereas with the other clubs, it's like it comes out on June 5th, and on August 15th, they're still negotiating. We at least we've gotten it, but yeah, sometimes you can't keep it completely under wraps. But hopefully, people are coming back around to the Michael Edwards way, remembering some of those great deals we used to do, and realizing that's
this is realizing. Go ahead, finish.
No, it's just it wasn't a bad place we were in. I get it. There's a lot of animosity because there's a clear correlation between Edwards coming back and Klopp leaving, and until the books come out and you hear from the horse's mouth, I'm not going to speculate. But there was a bit of a denigration of what was going on with, like I said, we always just, oh, we've got the best of this, and we got the best of that, and we got Michael Edwards. Well, for some reason, he became kind of public enemy number one there for a little while. But I'm happy he's back and he's overseeing what we're doing, and we can get that kind of fluidity in the market back. And I'm 100% with you. I'm all for us signing people that nobody thought about. I'm all for that.
Yeah. Here's a name that here's a name that I would be highly interested in joining us, and I think it would be a great addition, but I don't know the likelihood of it happening. Because there's actually now another player on this team that I would like to target as well, but I think the likelihood of that is even less. But according to Italian news outlet Calcio Mercato, Aston Villa midfielder Douglas Luiz is a target for the Reds. The report claims that Juventus are interested in signing Luiz, but may face competition from English clubs, including Liverpool. It has been stated that Liverpool have identified Luiz as a target this summer, as have Arsenal and as have Manchester United. The report claims that if the Reds want to sign the midfielder, they would need to meet Villa's asking price of £76.6 million, 90 million euros for Premier League clubs, with the fee supposedly 60 million euros for clubs outside of England. Again, that's what I mean by like the evaluations that go on. Absolutely mind blowing in the sense of, if you have a valuation for a player, what's that?
No, I'm with you. I mean, he's good, but bloody at 90 million. I mean,
exactly. I just don't know. I mean, like, tell me in the chat what you guys feel about this one. This is the last one we're going to deal with, and then we're going to go on to the final topic of the day. But tell me what you guys feel about that. I think Douglas Luiz is a baller. I think he's definitely a really, really talented player, and would be a very, very credible addition to our midfield. Where we play him would be interesting, considering that we do have a plethora of midfielders to choose from now. I think that our restock last year in the summer window last year was a very good haul, to say the least. But yeah, and 90 million is euros, by the way. 90 million is euros, 76.6 million pounds. So he would basically be around what we spent for Virgil van Dijk, in essence. Yeah, okay. and that's for Premier League clubs. That's the price they're shopping him around for at Prem, because apparently Douglas Luiz does want out from Villa.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's interesting. He wants
he's
out.
interested in moving on to a bigger club, apparently.
I mean, what a player!
Yeah,
really like a real kind of, that guy can do it all. Like, he took pens for them last season.
Oh, I didn't recognize that. I didn't realize that.
He scored goals. He scored, like, his goals. Look, I reckon he has at least 8 goals last season.
Yeah, I could pull it up.
A lot of them are obviously penalties, but he scored a couple of long-range screamers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not 8 in the league, but I guarantee he's got 6 in the league. I'll stick a tenner on it.
Okay.
But he's
Monopoly tenor.
Yeah, of course, Monopoly tenor, yeah. But I'll Venmo you.
Yeah.
He's. I think, is that what you're probably going to have to pay for a guy like that now? Yes.
9 goals. He had 9 goals.
9 goals in the league. Penalties, long rangers.
Yes, 9 goals in the league.
So, I'd have him in our squad all day, but then you get to that number. I know, he's Premier League proven. That's what they're charging that extra for. So I don't know. If we had the money and it wasn't an option, I'd have him all day, every day of the week. I can see him at Arsenal, though. I can really see him at Arsenal. Him and Declan Rice and Odegaard. It's pretty scary. But do we go there with that money? I wouldn't be surprised if we did. Like, if we were prepared to bid 115 for Caicedo, which we did. If we didn't, you're calling Klopp a liar. Okay, well, he said we did, so I'm trusting the manager. So why wouldn't we put that money down for him if we thought he was good enough? And like you said, you've been saying it now for the last while. Like, it's just like the manager market and the striker market. The DM market is a pricey place to go shopping. It's a pricey market.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of the chat is just saying it's just too much. Again, 90 million is 90 million euros. That's 90 million euros. I want to make sure that that's understood. It's not 90 million pounds. If it was 90 million pounds, then the
Dailies want to leave.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's another side to the story. So if he's actually
he's open to making the lead. That's what was reported. He's open to making it. He's not pushing for it in the sense of saying, like, I want out, I hate this place, or something like that. I'm not saying that at all. But he's open to it, very much open to it.
No, and Jared is right. I know he isn't an out and out 6. He definitely isn't.
He isn't.
But I think he's someone who's performed that role admirably this season. So yeah, again, look, is he what we need? Yeah, I don't know. Like as I said to you already, when you look at it, our midfield is heavily stacked.
It is. It absolutely is.
So if you want to make a 70 million addition, Curtis Jones, Elliott, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Endo,
and Luis.
And you're going to add a 70 million.
That would be
for that. Someone's got who gets the games.
Yeah.
But Basic, our potential guy, where someone would have to, if we were to spend that kind of money, I'm sorry, I'm just going to throw it out there. Sorry to sound like, Mr. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But surely you've got to lose it. You've got to lose a Jones or a Gravenberch if you're going to bring in a big.
Someone most likely will find their name on the out, if that. And you know what? Certainly one of those names would probably ask to leave if they don't think that they would see if their
course.
playing time is going to be
Of course.
affected by that player.
I don't see Harvey ever making that call.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Harvey ever standing outside the manager's office going, I want to have a word. Maybe Graf, maybe or maybe Jones. Don't know. But if everyone wants Trent in midfield, that's one less slot again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know. We've gone from needing a load of midfielders to having too many, but still not having the out and out DM that we needed.
Yeah.
Other than Endo, who if he was 6 years younger, cool, but is obviously a stop.
Maybe we could add a KDB into there. I'm bringing that up because that's our next topic. That's one of our next topics, and that is
any questions? If you're not, I don't know if 12 minutes stuck for time, but I'm not. Any questions you want to throw in the chat? Any topics that you saw brought up today? Any things that we haven't talked about? Any Twitter stuff? Random stories that anyone saw that tickled their fancy? Throw it in the chat.
Yeah. I don't think, and also Bonkers, I don't think Slot's going to give away Endo for someone. I think Endo will be a player that stays with us as an option. I don't think Endo would be like, oh, I'm not going to get playing time, I'm out. Like he's not going to be that guy. Endo, I think, would be more than willing to be second fiddle to a DM.
You'd be stupid to try and move Endo on now. He's the perfect backup DM, if not starting. Yeah, he's
and that's why, Brian. That's why, like a lot of times when I do see the Endo, like kind of like I don't want to call it Endo hate, but like the kind of like dismissal of Endo as being a part of this club. Like I'm like, you got to recognize Endo might not be your preferred starter. I get that, but Endo is the perfect backup. He is the perfect player to have to fill in those gaps when you need a DM for the role.
He's not going to kick up a stink if he's not playing. He's not
exactly.
He's at his dream move. He was at he thought his career had peaked at Frankfurt.
Yeah.
In his early 30s, Japanese, he's thinking, oh, and that's high level for someone from Japan. To actually get to Liverpool, he's going to sit there he's going to participate. He's going to be the fittest player, the most dedicated player.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I would have. He's perfect. Yeah. I would have liked, even if we had gotten Casemiro. I'm going to say Casemiro. Casado. Even if we had gotten Casado, or even if we had gotten Lavia. I still would have liked if the next blurb that was out there is Liverpool make a deal for Endo as being another addition. I would have been like, okay, that's cool. Because now you have a bona fide starting DM that you want to go forward with. And now you have a player that you can rely on when that player is, going through a knock, or maybe he's on international, AFCON duty or something like that. Or, those are the kinds of things I would like to see.
He brings that Milner-esque dedication to training. Fitness and dedication to making the most of all that stuff. He brings all those good traits, and I'm 100% with you on that. That's like, again, if I'm playing Football Manager, that's what I'm doing. I'm bringing in the 20-year-old, next Rodri, but I'm also bringing in the 32-year-old, 31-year-old Endo on a cheap deal for 2-3 years, knowing he's probably never going to miss a game. Super fit, you can drop him in and out. You're not going to get any personal problems with him. You're not going to get any stink kicked up because he doesn't play. He's amazed to be at the club, but doesn't let it overwhelm him. Goes out and does his job. He is so perfect for the squad. Just don't let him go, because he's probably got the fitness levels of a 27, 28-year-old. Average player, but I know they're all super fit these days. But I think the Lavia one, almost like the Yarrow one, tiny bit too young for me. I'd rather the Saicedo and Endo. Yes, please. To replace them. If we'd replaced Henderson and Milner, or call it Henderson and Fabinho with Saicedo and Endo.
But yeah,
that would have been spot on.
But no, look, what Honesty just said, and also with High Lord too, like High Lord said, could PSG tempt Liverpool with a bid plus a player for like Ugarte for like Luis Diaz? I would be open to see that deal, but those deals don't happen too often. There's not rarely do like the player plus cash deals like really happen. It's not that they don't happen, but they are rarities.
You could sell and buy both players,
right?
But without tying it up in the swap, you could sell them Diaz and we could buy Ugarte.
That's more likely the way
without, without making it one big combined kind of a thing.
Yeah,
because that wouldn't be, that has happened before. Two clubs have, sold from, bought and sold without it being a tied-in deal.
And even so,
it's the names thing, isn't it? Like Ugarte is another one, isn't it? That we were in for him.
I don't think Ugarte hasn't really hit the ground running out in France. I don't think he's like the cat's meow, as they say, in France. I mean, I would go for Bruno G. I think is a baller, obviously, but his evaluation is 100 million pound release clause, I believe, or something like that. Even though Newcastle, look, you know what? The best thing about it is with that case is that Newcastle, because Manchester United won the FA Cup, and because that made Chelsea become Conference League, and because that ended up making Newcastle, who had Conference League, now have no Europe. That hurts Newcastle immensely, and it limits their options. It limits their options.
Even if they've gotten Europa League, because the difference between the Champions League and everything else is huge.
Europa, it's immense. It's immense.
Yeah, so even if they'd gotten Conference or Europa League, it would have been okay, but the money would literally have been. I think it's like, the money in the Europa, and it's basically nothing. So it wouldn't have given them even. So it was like it was Champions League or bust kind of for them, and they will. I think the one most likely is Bruno, because I think he's the most saleable and probably most wants to leave, if you know what I mean. But I think the one that would be more attractive would be Isak, because Isak is a goal scorer. They're going to want. You're out there like
Newcastle reportedly are not interested in any.
Oh, too right there. Right there.
They're not interested in any real offers. It would have to be like some, incredible, like some, Premier League setting, like record-setting price that gets offered for him if they are going to part ways with Isaac. He is they are offering out Callum Wilson is one of the names that is on the outs, and Joe Linton is a possibility of being on a player that you could purchase from Newcastle if you're interested.
Yeah, they want to hang on to Isak, but like you're looking for a club that wants to give them 100 million for a DM in Bruno. Maybe not, but if you put that whole squad up on the market, it's Isak is bringing all the money. Well, they can protest all they want about not wanting to sell Isak, but if they're sitting there at the end of the day with no 80, 90 offer for Gordon or Bruno, which they seem intent on kind of convincing people is going to happen, nobody's going to give you 80 million quid for fucking Anthony Gordon. You can keep him now. Bruno. Exactly. Okay, you want 100 million for him? Well, great player, but he can go on
No
somewhere else.
way. No way.
Isaac, if people say, right, we trust him to stay fit, they'll
Mm-hmm.
put money down for him. That guy's a brilliant. That guy is unreal, and he's a goal scorer. That's your £100 million player, lads. Not Bruno, not Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
So they can protest all they want, but Isaac might be looking at going, well, no European football. You know, Real Madrid want me, or such and such want me. You might have a different scenario on their hands. Newcastle are not as big as they think they are. Bruno was up there 18 months ago going, I can't believe how happy I am. I'm so happy to sign a new contract. Like, they gave him a new contract 5 minutes after he signed. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Newcastle is amazing. I love Newcastle. Yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. One of the grimmest places in Europe on the North Sea. You're from Brazil. Don't pretend you love Newcastle. That's weird if you do, by the way.
People do, but this is honestly said there. Anthony Gordon gets mad hype since he was linked with LFC. Yeah. Meanwhile, Eze's stats are similar, and Eze only played 27 games in the season. Look, you're right, but that's what a good agent will do. That's what a good even a backroom guy that wants to kind of hype up or increase the likelihood of players wanting or accepting the price, because look, despite what we think, I honestly do believe that we as fans do have some influence on transfers or prices or because of the acceptance of it all, in the smallest influence. I'm not saying that we're the guiding factor at all, but if you get it out there, and as an owner, or as a sporting director, or as a club in general, you want good press to be associated with your transfer. So on Anthony Gordon, you want to make it out there that you've gotten a good price for this player, as in you've gotten good value for what you put out there. And I mean, if people are circulating the talks about this guy being, or Gordon, for instance, being a £100 million player, and people are very much bullish on it, then I'm not saying the likelihood is more. I'm not saying that the likelihood is now a given, but it helps the PR.
I'll back you up. I will back you up on that, because I know for a fact that
Manchester United thing.
Yeah, the Man United did it. We all know what focus groups are.
Yeah.
Man United used Twitter as a focus group by putting out links. Just not to make them decide on whether they should sign a player or not. Of course not.
No.
But just to gauge the Twitter reaction.
Yep.
And they were literally putting this stuff into algorithms.
Yep.
And just seeing how positive, negative this is. And okay, that doesn't mean positive on Twitter, we buy. Negative on Twitter, we don't buy. Nobody's saying that. But yeah, they were factoring, and they just put a little here. Look, Mr. Journalist, right? Put out a story that says Manchester United are potentially interested in buying, Dele Alli. Just put potentially, maybe interested. And then they gauge reaction on that. Okay, cool. Well, we'll factor that into our commercial value, commercial reaction to buying that player. Not just football, not just this. And that's how this stuff was going down. It's like, right, okay. That is the world that we live in. That is the world that we live in. And like you said, not like fans are let's ask the fans. And
not at all. Not at all.
But it is to do with basically share price. How will this negatively, if you
impact?
buy?
Is this going to be something we're going to have to deal with?
Yeah, we're talking about a Ben Johnson, right? As an extreme example, right? Or without wanting to go down, like a Mason Greenwood or something. You know, where a club might float the idea on Twitter that their club is interested in signing Nathan Greenwood or Ben Johnson, you know, and it's like, well, you know, would everyone hate that? You know, it's like you walk into a room and you go, I was thinking about ordering pepperoni. Would everyone fucking hate that? And you
Right.
get like 56% go, no, that'd be cool. You got a couple of people, well, you know, I'd rather this. Go, okay. You know, but they're doing it on everything. Everything now is, let's gauge the Twitter reaction too. And it's factored into everything. So that, again, like we said, that's the world we live in right now, isn't it?
Yeah. I brought up in the world we live in now, because the world that we live in now is, you know, affected by the Saudi Arabian League immensely, and also by some of these golf ownership. Okay. There was this is the piece. I'm going to read some of the piece from the article. Make sure I give the accreditation to it. I believe it was on.
Oh, this is a good story. This is KDB's story. Yeah, I like this.
Yeah, this is going. I'm going to mix two stories together. I'm going to mix the KDB story and the actual story about City as well together. And this is what I mean by how I'm going to mix them in together, because basically KDB has said that he's admitted that he's open to a move to Saudi Arabia this summer. De Bruyne is the highest Premier League highest earner in the Premier League currently. City pay him a weekly wage of $510, or that's dollars, but $510,000. That would be 400,000 pounds.
400K, yeah, he's on 4. Yeah.
400K for pounds, or 470,000 for euros. We are a global audience, so that's why I'm putting it all out there.
400 bands.
What's that?
400 bands.
Yeah, 400 bands. There you go, for the kids out there. Yeah. But that is nothing compared to what we would obviously have to see a Saudi Arabian team offer him. So Cristiano Ronaldo, for instance, makes around 3.4 million pounds a week. Okay. So obviously hearing that,
De Bruyne makes the 0.4 in that.
exactly.
And he's the highest paid player in the Premier League.
Yeah. That's incredible. That's going again with the world we live in once again, you know.
Wow.
So De Bruyne is 32. Last year he missed some major portions of the campaign for his City, and it was noticeable as to the difference that his absence made. But he did actually, when he did come back, he did obviously make a big difference. He added in his quote, he says his eldest, this is, well, I'll make sure I'm not going to paraphrase it. I'll just say his exact quote. He says, this is KDB speaking. He says, my eldest is now 8 years old and knows nothing but England. He also asked how long I will play for City. Once the moment comes, we will have to deal with it in a certain way. At my age, you have to be open to everything. So basically, this is an actual possibility that could be pursued. And it is something where, you know, we've seen how even though he is obviously one of the best players and obviously the highest paid player on City, we have seen Pep sub KDB out of some of these big games. And I mean sub him out and had KDB not happy to be finding the bench in some of these big games, whether it's cup games, whether FA Cup games, or whatever it was, Champions League, or whether it was even league games. He did not look happy. Now, this next story, though, is something that I think is very interesting. Apparently, Manchester City is taking legal action against the Premier League. And why I'm bringing this up is because this is something the issue that they're bringing up in their legal action is associated with a measure that Liverpool voted on and voted in favor of. Okay, now Manchester City is you say something, Irishman?
No, sorry, I'm just waiting. I haven't heard anything about this. They're suing what? Keep
Yeah,
going. Yeah,
they're suing the Premier League. Okay, so basically, there was a measure about APTs, they're called. Okay, so APTs are associated party transactions. Okay, so that means it could be anything from a measure of trading within a team, or more so with the measure of the advertising, having an advertising group, so like getting money from an advertiser that you own. So I mean, like hypothetical, with the Etihad, or something like that, they own that airline, so like it's like, how much with the PSR and with all the money that you bring in, if you own the advertiser and you're going to say to the advertiser, we want you to do a deal for hypothetically £100 million deal with us, but you need 120 million for you to qualify in PSR. Well, maybe you then renegotiate, quote unquote, with your advertiser that you own, and you chip in another 120 million on top of that. Why not? But I mean, it's not like technically the sponsor probably wouldn't go for that, but because you are the sponsor, you create that situation. Now, we voted against it. I'll read what the article says. The article goes on to say that the Etihad outfit is now challenging a separate but potentially related measure that Liverpool helped to vote into existence. Having initially agreed to a temporary ban on associated party transactions, Premier League clubs later voted through a permanent measure to tackle the issue. It requires teams who are receiving money from sponsors related to their owners to undergo a fair market value check. Okay. This article is by the Times, stated that a 165-page legal document prepared by City, always the fun guys, right, in the group with their lawyers, claims that they are the victims of quote unquote discrimination against golf ownership, unquote, and that the associated party transaction rules were approved by rivals to stop their domination of the Premier League and are a quote tyranny of the majority, unquote. So basically, they're saying we're done. We're not going to have this happen anymore. We know that we had these 115 charges on our backs, but guess what? We're going to play a little offense, in essence.
So first off, for City's owners to, I don't know which is worse. They've done two things there that stand out to me. And again, look, I understand this. My mind works differently. Everybody's brain works differently. Everyone has their own way of thinking. But the first two things that me is they use the word tyranny there, and to accuse for anyone else, for them to accuse anyone else of tyranny is beyond laughable. Because if you want to look at what tyranny is, look at what Gulf states do. And they've used that term themselves. They've used that term, Gulf states. I haven't used it. I'm using their term, right? So they've mentioned Gulf states. So they've gone and play. They've just gone and played the fucking race card. First, straight out of the bat, they played the race card.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the first card that they're going to use.
First card, they played the fucking race card. Now, tyranny is what you have in Saudi Arabia. And I know City aren't owned by Saudi Arabia, but they're owned by Abu Dhabi, and it's a very, very similar scenario there. not so much as coal and whatever you get from the Saudis, but they're right at the top. So for these people to even use the word tyranny is really kind of annoying me here, because tyrannical, despotic, these are words that are rightly used against the regimes that they profit and uphold. And they have decided to use English clubs, English football clubs, as their sports washing vehicles. That's what they've decided to do. They've decided to sports wash their reputation in the whole world, where if the first thing you think of when you think of Saudi Arabia is football, then they've won. If you want to know what sports washing is, when you think of Saudi Arabia, someone says, Saudi Arabia, what do you think of? Saudi League or Saudi football? Yeah, they've won. If you think of Abu Dhabi, what do you think of? You think of Man City, they've won. You forget all about the horrible things that they've been doing out there. So these guys, I mean, the brass balls on them, but I don't know where we're going to go with this, because they know they've lost. So now they're coming out swinging and fighting.
Yeah.
And they know that no one sees them as what they are. De Bruyne, I think we can go back to the De Bruyne thing. I applaud his honesty. Jordan Henderson can take a leaf out of his book. And it's insane that someone who is earning £400,000 a week can say, "Oh, the money over there is crazy." I mean, what the hell? What the hell? Like 400 grand a week, and you're saying, "Well, the money they're offering over there is mad." I mean, how is 400 grand a week not insane? That should be insane money, but no.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's coming out like just right up and saying it. It's like, I can go over there and earn. I think he said, I can go over there and earn more if I was to go there he was, without being paraphrasing, he was saying I could go there for 3 years and earn more than I've earned in my entire
whole career
already. Yeah.
Yep.
And he's just laying it all out there on the line. That's what it's about.
He can earn it in a week, maybe in a couple of weeks, a month, maybe, or something.
Probably more than what he's heard before he went to City. Yeah. If you take his City career out of it, he could go to Saudi and probably in 2 weeks earn the total he earned before he moved to City in his entire career.
This is what, and I good comments, by the way. This is why I love the chats and how they contribute to the show. Appreciate the Mighty Reds Army here. Tyler is saying to you, Brian, specifically, says, I hear you, but have you heard about London City? I mean, England isn't financially very clean either. Yes, I agree with that too. London has its issues.
No, it's
but
not,
London is no longer. London is a whole different set of. That's a whole different. Let's not even go there. I know you got. I know. Let's.
No, I just want to say, Saudi is a country and they own Newcastle. London is a city. It doesn't own a club.
Right.
Saudi is a country, and it's not punishable by death to be gay in London. It's punishable by death to be gay in Saudi. So.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Whatever. Different levels.
The other Phil comment though was, in his opinion, they're saying that they're guilty of most of the 115 charges. Look, what they're doing is basically setting up trying to dismantle a lot of the argument for some of those 115 charges. The article, actually, let me read a little bit more of this article, really, because it's a pretty good article, to tell you the truth. And also, some of this is taken from the Echo, I believe, too, but they're taking it from another article, which I referenced earlier from the Times. But all the same, it says many of the 115 charges related to similar issues with Manchester City, accused of artificially inflating various commercial deals. Although regardless of the outcome of this upcoming arbitration hearing set to begin on Monday, those alleged breaches will be assessed against the regulations that were in place at the time. Nonetheless, according to the Times, rival clubs fear that the outcome in this instance could be key to the eventual verdict. Manchester City denies all of the charges. So this is the key part. In this new case, Manchester City is arguing that the APT rules are unlawful under the Competition Act of 1998 and will seek damages from the Premier League, according to the Times. So they're going to ask for money. Okay. In
They know they're getting found
165
guilty.
page, yeah, in a 165-page legal document, it argues that it has suffered from discrimination and tyranny of the majority. It claims that, but it is claimed that between 10 and 12 other clubs in the league have provided witness statements or letters in support of the Premier League's defense, with those who have given statements liable to be called to give evidence at the hearing. It's not clear whether Liverpool was one of those clubs, by the way, but apparently, yeah.
Sorry, do you remember last time? Do you remember last time you had to go to this much bother to prove yourself innocent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This case is going to be held on June 10th, and it's expected to last for 2 weeks. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this case, to tell you the truth. I will definitely keep an eye on this case. Obviously, I don't believe that. I would love, and this is something I think they should do, and that is you want to keep the public having full faith in the outcome. Put cameras in the actual in the actual courtroom. Put cameras in there.
Where are they holding it?
I'll find that out.
It's probably going to be in like Switzerland or something. Or if it's I don't know where that thing is going to be held.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they don't do cameras in court in the UK. Like you get transcript, like you can just read it.
I know. I'm just saying.
I know. You said we'd all love it. Like, but you didn't even get cameras in the New York court for the Trump stuff. I mean, can you imagine that?
Right. Well, that's because like New York has certain rules. Like for instance, in Georgia,
in England,
in Georgia, you can have.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, we all wanted it in the state where they had cameras. Don't worry.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, that's why they were like, no, okay, we're doing. But yeah, in England, you're just literally not allowed to do that. So
right.
So if it goes on in England, or if it goes on in Switzerland, or if it's a cast thing, it'll probably be Switzerland, won't it? One of those neutral countries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You wait.
This isn't a cast thing, though. This isn't a cast thing. That
I was just wondering, but I haven't heard where it's actually going to be held yet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so, but yeah, there won't.
They can't cower and manipulate casts.
No, but this is what's happening, dude. These guys are coming out swinging. Like, do you remember last time you were being charged with something and you were being innocent, and the first thing you did was hire millionaire lawyers to sue everybody because that's what innocent people do? Yeah, no. You're just like, we didn't do anything. Let's just get this case over and done with because we didn't do anything and we can prove it. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, it's about to happen. Let's start suing people. Let's start. Yeah, that really makes you look not at all twice as dodgy.
Right. This is not the case. This isn't the 115 charges case, by the way. Honestly, that's what they're referring to.
Yeah,
this is them taking the offensive basically and trying to if they can take, and that's obviously why they're willing to go to court on this early, but they're pushing off the case of the 115 charges, because if they can get a ruling in their favor for this case, then it will affect the 115 charges case.
Very interesting, that, isn't it? Very interesting. They're ready to go to trial on this one within 24 hours, but that other one, no, well, that's going to take 8 years.
Down the road.
Yeah, that's going to, that guy, Jesus, I don't know where those files are, and that's a long time ago. Guess what? Now it's time barred. Oh, sorry.
Right.
This one, they're ready to go at the courthouse tomorrow morning. Ready to go.
Yeah.
Guess what? Ready? And it's like, you're not ready? Sorry, we beat you in court because you weren't ready.
Right.
These guys are the fucking worst. I'm sorry. They are literally the fucking worst. Like, do they not realize that, like, nobody is looking at them going, this is legit? Like, everyone knows what they're doing. They don't.
No, they do.
Surely they must realize that everybody knows that they can see through your bullshit.
Right,
You
right.
might win it or whatever. Like, this is the thing. You might actually get away with this. People get away with shit. But when you
Yeah,
walk out of court, it's not like all those people that were sitting there in the front going, they did it, are like, oh, sorry, dude, I didn't realize you were innocent. They're like, no, you did it, man. You got away with it. But we all still think you did it.
right.
Nobody's opinion is going to change on this. And there all these dirty tactics like, oh, ha, 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 look what we're going to do now. Man, this is,
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see who this does them a favor with other than their own fans, because you're just making yourself look more guilty. But let's throw another expensive lawyer thing at something, because that's what innocent people who want their name cleared, that's what they do.
Right.
Create noise in the middle somewhere else.
This is something that, and we're going to be, we're landing the plane here. We're going to be finishing off in the next couple of minutes here, pause. But what is uniquely?
Unnecessary pause right there. You don't
Make
really
sure. You never know. You never know.
yeah, but you've done it.
The one thing that is one thing I'm a little bit concerned about is, look, we have another club that is a city, a city state or a state owned club in this league.
Leicester.
And albeit they have been forced to hold the rules closer to the cuff than obviously City were in the initial takeover that they saw for their early parts of their ownership of Manchester City. But what I'm kind of concerned is, does Newcastle get frustrated? Does Newcastle get so frustrated with how they're getting pushed and made to be, held to sell their assets, to do these different measures to try to compete and eventually create a viable club that is competing for Champions League consistently? Do they figure out some way to, cut corners here or there? They certainly have the money for it, and then figure whether they go and say, hey, maybe we'll just do what if City, especially if City is successful, do they say to themselves, look, let's just cut these corners. If we get caught, we'll use our lawyers and we'll just have at it that way. That is something I'm concerned about. I don't know if you share that concern in the chat or even the Irishman. That's my own personal concern. And I'm not suggesting that Newcastle will do this. I actually appreciate the fact that they have been trying their best to somewhat play by the rules from what I've seen, but it is a concern. Go ahead, Irishman. You want to say something?
Well, I think there's no silver bullet here, and I understand what Ant is saying, and I understand the argument from every level of bad ownership right up to the hyper-capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what we've achieved now at the moment, what seems to be happening, is that the PSR and the UEFA FFP are having real teeth now at the moment. So it's coming down to literally a point now where the teams that earn the most money will be allowed to spend the most money. And I realize there are bad spots in that, which allows sort of a guy with a lot of money who is stable and who can back up that money to be able to come in and invest in a club and push it beyond that, if that club doesn't already commercially own or earn what it needs to. So you're stopping that from happening, yes. And it is kind of creating a closed shop.
Right.
But you're also stopping people from faking money or whatever, and if it doesn't go well, you end up with a Leeds and a club going out of business. That's what I'm saying. There is no perfect answer here. And it can, if you look at from the idea of a Liverpool fan where John Henry comes in and goes, if these FFP rules are correct in what they're saying is going to happen, then the club that earns the most legitimately through commercial revenue and all that, Liverpool is one of the biggest in the world, only behind Man United, maybe, which they shouldn't be, and Real Madrid. If we can maximize the commercial revenue of this club, we'll have as much money to spend as anyone else. That wasn't the case, but that seems to be becoming the case now, where you can spend what you earn. And therefore, I think that's right to a degree. But then I also understand the argument that if a guy who is completely solvent is a billionaire and wants to take over Preston North End, well, he'll never be allowed to break them into the top because they only make Preston North End money. That definitely is the thing. So I just see there's no real kind of silver bullet here. Right. Because what we're trying to stop happening is idiot owners, the likes of Barry, the likes of and if Leicester got taken over by some jokers instead of the Thai owners that you got taken over by, could be in freaking administration now. Like some of these, bet big and pull out when it all goes wrong type owners. I'm not saying Leicester wouldn't have, but we could be all in that. Like Liverpool, that happened to us. We were in the courts. We were in desperate. We were close to going into administration because two guys came in that promised to spend a load, got it wrong, didn't know what they were doing. It could happen to anybody. So I think you've got good forces out there trying to stop that from happening to the smaller clubs, like genuine 120-year-old football clubs going out of business because they're taken over by idiots. So it's like I say, it's really, really hard to find a middle ground here that works for everybody. It's the big six. Like I said the other night, Real Madrid will always be at the top because they're Real Madrid. They've been one of the biggest clubs in the world for a long time now. There's always going to be big dogs. Like people talk about someone wanting to break into the top 4, the top 6. It's not an expanding number. There's only four places. Like you can get a rich guy come in and buy a club, but rich people will also own Man City and Liverpool and Arsenal. Like that's why they want an ESL, so they all go in a European Super League. So it's again, there's no easy answers for this. There is no thing that fixes all of the problems and makes it fair. Because there's just too much money involved in football now. There will, even if you level the playing field, let's level the playing field. Well, guess what, Ant? Leicester won't be in the top 4. Liverpool won't be top 1 if we level the playing field. It just won't, because there's only one top spot in Europe, in England, and in the world. There's only one team can finish top. It's not going to be Leicester. No matter how rich your owners are, how far. Not going to be, probably won't be Liverpool most years. If there's only one top spot in a league, it doesn't. So I'm not saying the club should accept their places or whatever, but like I say, how many teams can finish top? 1. No matter how rich you are.
Yeah. No, and that's the whole point of that's when I saw this article, I was like, they are a piece of work, huh? They are a real piece of work, man. I also said, I've said it time and time again, man, as right before we're going to be leaving pretty soon here, or allowing for you guys to go on to your final destinations. But hey, you know what? It's like, when the ship starts to go down, the people follow. Remember in the movie The Titanic, and the people, the ship was going down, and they knew it was a problem because all the rats were like running and skirting out for like leaving. It's like one of those things. It's like, you watching all these players look at it as like, hey, you know what? It's time to bounce. They've seen what's going on, whether it's the players that are announcing the fact of, like, I know Bernardo Silva has been saying he wanted out of City for some time, but I mean, like, the likelihood of that happening is even more so now. There's other players that have been, from last year that got out. There's other players from this year that are notable players that are looking to possibly go on to bigger measures or more sustainable clubs that are in such circumstances. Now, I'm not saying that City's guilty. I'm not saying they're not guilty, but what I am saying is that usually when you see people start to bail ship, it's for a reason. So and you can even say that for Pep too, possibly realizing that the writing might be on the wall and having an out just in case City do get relegated or City have to do whatever the terms that they have to administer.
Say that again. Say that again, just in case. Say that again, in case City get what?
Relegated?
Oh, that sounds nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That sounds nice. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be nice. In what a world that would be to live in, to wake up tomorrow morning and go, yeah, City are in League One, folks.
Yep. And there's no guarantee, by the way. The championship does not have to accept City into their league.
100% correct, my friend. They do not. They actually have to literally sign off and accept them. Yeah. They cannot be forced to, because they weren't relegated. Like 3 teams got promoted, 3 teams got relegated. So yeah, and that's not like, that's the thing. The Premier League is a Premier League. You're now into the English Football League, which is a very different organization.
How great would it
get on very well with the Premier League
if it was City gets relegated, but not only do they get relegated from the Premier League, now they got to go out and find a suitor, and it's like the championship goes, nah, we're good.
They can refuse to accept their entry to the league. The EFL is like, no, what's the Premier League ever done for us? So sorry, the championship is full. So Man City, maybe you should apply for permission to play in League One next season. So that would be freaking hilarious. Obviously, yeah. I mean,
awesome. That would be absolutely awesome to see.
I mean, it's happened to Juventus. It's happened to Juventus. It's happened to Juve. I mean, why can't it happen? Like Juve, look at what happened to them afterwards. They came back. They won Serie A. They bought Ronaldo. They bought Higuain. They got really far in the Champions League. That's all after they got relegated. Like these big teams will come back if you do it to them. But just fucking do it to them. Like everyone talks about Italian being so corrupt over there. Yeah, but when you get caught doing stuff, you get punished. Like they threw Juve out of the league straight away. Just threw them out. Gave all the titles to Inter Milan. There you go. There's a few more titles. Juve, like, do that to City. They'll be back.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely be. Yeah. I mean, that's the part. It's like it'd be silly if they go to the championship league, then it's not like they're going to be stuck. Like, as in they'll get back, they'll win the league, they'll have the league, they'll probably wrap up the league, the earliest ever practically, with all
their academy. Yeah, they could sell most of their first in their academy of destroy League One.
Right. But I mean, how awesome would that be if they got relegated or expelled? I know it's a matter of semantics, but like, as in, how awesome would it be if they were to like be in League Two, And
a question I always give
League One or League Two or one of those leagues,
A question to you, and I know to chat as well, and it's one I've made my kind of position clear on before, but if that happens and you get the titles, like, do you want the titles? I mean, because to me, those titles are gone. They would just be kind of numbers. I'm taking them. I'm not saying I'm not taking them. I'm taking them. But to me, it's almost beside the point. I mean, are you like the people? What do you think? Do you then? I suppose basically what I'm saying is, if they get demoted, relegated, expelled, or whatever, are you then demanding those titles? If if in the judgment it doesn't say that you should be, oh, and by the way, Liverpool should be handed those titles, are you going out and advocating or lobbying for them? Because for me, they're gone. I really don't give a shit. I don't want them now. You can't enjoy it. You can't. But I'm just wondering, because I know literally I've been talking, because we've had this conversation about other clubs in the past, not just our club, and I know a lot of
It
people.
won't be our club that gets the. Yeah, it's not only our club. I mean, Manchester
Yeah,
United.
Arsenal will get one. United might get
Manchester
one.
United will get a parade. Arsenal will get a parade.
Yeah, the ones who go. But to me, it's always like, no, I really don't care. But I know for every fan is always very, because for a lot of fans are like, no, I want those goddamn titles.
Right.
A lot of fans would be very vociferous about it. But for me, I'd be.
I know.
They're gone.
No, all right. So I'm gonna be scandalous because I'm already on record as to having my answer out there, because I got asked this on Copish actually. So and
it's
me and
Drippy,
I think no, it was me and Cal that were on the same page. Okay, with this answer. So
big up Pops. Dr. Pops in the building.
Shout out to Bayesian Pops, definitely representing Bayesian Reds to the fullest for sure. I was gonna say, I say this. Yes. Because I heard our gaffer, our former gaffer now, Jurgen Klopp say, if we're going to get these parades, if they're going to give us the trophies, and that means we can get parades, sign him up. Okay?
Yeah, he'd be back in the hot. Yeah, he'd be back in the hot. I know, yeah.
Just yeah. Just allow for me some little leeway here. But Jurgen Klopp did say that, and I was like, okay, I like it. Any excuse to bring Jurgen back and give him the righteous parade that he deserves, I'm on board. It also would mean that possibly Stevie G gets his Prem title and his parade. I'm on board for that. Stevie G on the bus, Stevie G on the bus, celebrating.
I'm getting the numbers.
Exactly, honesty.
Suarez, no, Stevie G on the bus, problems. No parade. I get the numbers, but no parade. I don't think Stevie would do a parade.
Oh,
yeah. I don't think there'd be a parade. I get a metaphorical parade, but I don't think we'd be doing buses around. Yeah, I'm taking the but
ding dong, the witch is dead type concept,
No, but what you say is true. If it meant, like, I'm taking them. That's what I said. Like, I'm taking them. I've always said, look, I'll take them. Add them to our total, right? If they're up for grabs, and they get, if they're getting allocated, then I'll take them. And also, if Stevie, would it mean Stevie had one? I don't think it would.
No, it would. Maybe Stevie G and Suarez both do.
So if they have one, okay, Stevie deserves that. But for me, it's just like, I'm more interested in them having their legacy wiped away. That's my main. It's kind of like, you win it in court. It's like, as long as we get that, and then then we can go after the assets or whatever. But I just want to make sure that when they get done, all their victories are expunged and they're removed. So it has to be blank, asterisks, whatever. Like I say in Italy, like what they did it with Juve. I mean, they were barely Juve out the door, and they'd already handed titles to Inter. It's like, bang, bang, there you go. They're yours now.
Yeah.
They're your titles, and the Inter Milan fans loved it. So I just think it's always an interesting question, because some people are like, don't care. Yeah, it's dead. It's gone. Means nothing now. And then you get a lot of people are like,
how about this, Brian? It's a parade for justice.
Yeah,
you don't have to look at it as it's a Premier League. It's a celebration of Premier League. How about we have a parade of justice? The sheer fact that justice has been served, and now we are celebrating and honoring the the concept that we
Do you
have
know
been
what? Actually,
rightfully adjudicated.
I think we should do it. Okay, I do believe, right? We should do a bus parade, right?
Right.
But we should do it around Manchester. We should do it around Manchester, not Liverpool. We
Oh well,
should bring
that's a
our
whole different story.
just bring
Yeah,
yeah, just
that would
try
be
that bus to Manchester. Stevie G, Jurgen Klopp, Dua Lipa banging out, all that, na, around
yeah.
Manchester all day. Just Jurgen and Stevie on top of a bus.
I say if we do it that
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
the bus pulls up to the Etihad. You'll have like, you could have Aguero, or you could have like, I
Hand
don't
them back
know.
the medals.
Yeah,
Hand them back
handing
the
back,
medals.
they've got
Yeah,
to do like the
yeah,
walk of honor.
yeah.
And then
The
they had to
Stevie
bring out the trophy themselves, hand it
and
over
Benteke.
to
Yeah,
Stevie. Stevie gets on the bus and be like, peace.
yeah, yeah. Benteke just there going, give me that medal, Aguero. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if the chat is on board with my idea, but
yeah.
I'll be
Take it to
shameless.
Manchester. Take it to Manchester. That's what we should do.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, but look, if if it comes down, we'll all have our own little thing. But you know how cynical I am, but I still have faith in this.
Right.
I still have faith in this that they will be found guilty. What I don't have faith in is how people react to it. But we need to react to it as we are, as Liverpool fans that know that we had basically an unstoppable thing up against us, and it wasn't just Jurgen Klopp, it wasn't Guardiola, it was something else. And we have, you can call them moral victories, but we didn't win those leagues, right? But we put down numbers that basically win leagues. So when these things come out, these verdicts or whatever, when they do come out, it won't change anyone's mind because I think we all are where we are on City right now. Okay, we're not going to change our minds. So hopefully, it will just give us that little bit of comfort to go, yeah, okay, now it's all out there. It's in the public domain that we don't have to argue with these morons anymore. Going, oh, time barred, never, all this stuff. So
Yeah,
again,
it would be.
but
It would be. It would just be this. I just can't say it enough. It would be just. It would be perfect to be able to right the wrongs that we've allowed to continue on. I've been saying it time and time again. I
I
hear that
think it needs to happen.
people
I
talk
think
about these accomplishments that these teams have made, and I'm like, they made them while they cheated. So like, why are you continuing to allow for them to like? I get it that they won it on the field and they won it on the pitch. I get it, but I mean,
we need
the
to stop
means
the
and way
lies.
that they accomplished it was by cheating.
We
You
need to
know?
stop the lies.
Yeah.
It's gotten into, like, you live in a country now where I mean, I honestly feel sorry for you because reality has just been thrown into the blender and then thrown down into the fucking, the garbage disposal. And then, look,
And
honestly, what,
recycled and, and
yeah,
thrown out again.
like,
Yeah.
lies used to be lies, they used to be demonstrably lies,
Right.
you know, now lies, they're just, someone else, it's bled into foot. We just need some fucking legitimacy back in football
Yeah.
where we can all just sit back and go that we're watching something that takes us outside of all of this other nonsense. And it's just a
Mm-hmm.
game that we love. We don't have
Mm-hmm.
to argue about this madness.
Mm-hmm.
115 charges against a club or all of this stuff. We just want the game back. It's run by money, yeah, but can we at least run it correctly? We Everyone has shown you don't have to cheat. You don't have to lie. You can just
Mm-hmm.
do it well. And if you have money, you can succeed. You don't have to ruin the reputation of the game and sully it. And this is one thing I wanted to bring up. It's like we were talking about Kevin. Like I spoke about PSG a couple of weeks ago, and one of the reasons why everyone should hate PSG, one of the reasons I hate the PSG now is because I used to love PSG before because they were such a cool club that had Ronaldinho and Okocha and George Weah and all these great players, and they were taken over by something. which, you know, they used to be so fucking cool to watch those guys. And they were playing for a club that you didn't have to be massively morally bankruptly corrupted and, you know, worried about, you know, what am I doing watching these guys? You know, now Kevin De Bruyne is one of the greatest footballers ever to play football in the Premier League. I have actively not watched that guy. I have done my best to not watch Kevin De Bruyne because I
Right.
don't want to watch Man City. And I have missed watching one of the greatest ever
Yeah.
creative midfielders in England. That guy is unbelievable. Some of his people talk about Trent's long passing from deep. Seriously, look at this guy. This guy is ridiculous, and I have actively not watched him, and I've missed most of his top level career because he's playing for those guys, and I don't want to watch him. That is what they've taken from the game. Aguero, the same. Yaya Toure. They've taken away those players' ability to reach out to other fans across the world and say, look at how football should be played. I mean, De Bruyne, I mean, look at his highlights reel with, you know, Christ almighty. That guy has absolute magic in his boots, but he plays for that thing. So nobody cares. And I think that's a shame. I think that's a real, genuine shame. And that's what disgusts me most about these guys. They've done that to the game where we don't want to watch these amazing footballers.
Yeah. I'm gonna put in a little comment here. I don't really remember Phil Babb that much, to be honest with you. And I was asked Phil Babb.
Oh, do you remember he slid his most famous moment, unfortunately, apart from being breaking the British transfer record for a defender,
He went,
breaking his balls on a post.
Yeah, and that's what
Most
Richard said.
expensive defender in England. Most expensive defender in the Premier League in history when we bought him, 3.65 million. I think in that same summer, I think it was Man United bought someone else for a similar price, but it was literally the most. That's when we were going out breaking records for the likes of Phil.
Spent like a few years with us, like 5 years, 6 years, maybe 7.
Wasn't very good. He's Irish.
Around there, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't great. He was not not worthy of the record for a defender.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. All right, guys. We'll see. I have there's an interesting little episode that I have in store for you guys. That's gonna be. It deals with City actually. So
what are people saying?
A little teaser. I like dropping these little teasers to keep you guys at least looking for the updates and looking for the announcements of shows that we have up and ready for you guys. So it should be an interesting story, or interesting show. It should be, and it's one that it's not all like, sit and listen to me read off stuff or listen to my research type stuff. More so, it's a interactive show, so it should be a very interesting show. But I appreciate you guys joining us today. Irishman, I would ask if you have anything that you would like to say to our Mighty Reds and also some of our guests as well. I saw Ant was in the house as well. Do you have anything to say to our guests before they go on to their final destination?
No, on a Tuesday night, just get over the week. It's not quite hump day, is it?
No, not quite.
Wednesday, hump day, but
almost.
We're at the start of a long summer, so get your enjoyment where you can, and ignore those transfer rumors because it'll come thick and fast, right? Yeah, and Ant, someone said earlier on, can we get Ant on because he talks a lot of sense? We can definitely do the first part. I don't know about the second part, but like I said, we'll be getting, because Leicester are now officially back in the Premier League for a year. We can allow him to come on. No, yeah, definitely. If and like I said to you last night, if you want to come on, man, anytime, just
Yeah,
hit me up and
yeah,
we'll bring in. It's cool. Talk about
yeah.
anything. Doesn't have to be Leicester, but
Doesn't have to be. Yeah,
yeah,
it doesn't have to be about your team. If you want to like comment and or at least have a little bit of a say on like the subjects of the Prem or even about our beloved Reds, we're open. We're definitely open to have guests and entertain a good dialogue, good discourse between all people, and one that is inclusive and one that definitely highlights the good natures of what being a Red is, and that is being someone that is respectful and also someone that understands that we always walk together. So, yeah. But
thank you, everyone.
anyways,
As usual.
yeah, I'm glad that the Irishman was able to join us today. Thank you as always. And I'm also glad that you in the chat were able to join us. Mighty Reds Army, as I said, always walking with us proudly, and I appreciate that each and every time for sure. But we'll be back tomorrow. I think that we're going to do the DM show tomorrow. And then I think on Thursday, we'll hop into the DeLorean. We might hop into the DeLorean. I'm not certain if we have enough of the rivals tiers, but we will certainly look to hop into the DeLorean. And then
Nice one,
finally
Jimmy.
Friday. What's that?
Oh, sorry, I said nice one, Jimmy.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I say, as always, continue to take care of yourselves and make sure that you not only take care of your physical health, but your mental health. It's very important, and to reach out for professional help if you need it. Always understand that we walk together and we always walk along with you, so you are never alone. Also, I would like to say you have to understand that you are a part of one of the greatest fan groups in the world. And that brings me to say, as always, up the Reds. I'll see you guys tomorrow and gals tomorrow. And yeah, up the Reds always.